So in a recent interview with the Washington Post, Donald Trump claimed that he would have been leading the charge into the Capitol on January 6th. And I'm here to call BS. Let's talk about it in today's video.
I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer. Okay? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So you just saw Donald Trump's pathetic debasement of himself before Vladimir Putin, just demonstrating how pathetic he is. I mean, after all, this is the guy who couldn't serve in Vietnam because he had bone spurs, receiving 5 deferments. But then, of course, years later claiming that he could have served in the military and he knew so much about the military. We've all heard about that. But that's pretty typical for Donald Trump. Tough talk and weak actions. Donald Trump loves to be perceived as tough, but he doesn't want to put anything on the line to accomplish it. We had Donald Trump, of course, order military action against Iran, then back off at the last minute. We had him claim he was going to rain fire and fury on North Korea, then later on claimed, of course, that Kim Jong-un was a good friend of his. Trump's own former National Security Advisor, John Bolton, has responded to Trump's claims that Putin wouldn't have invaded in Ukraine while Trump was president by making it clear that Trump was nothing more than a Putin puppet and he was weak and ineffective, aside from being stupid and not even knowing where Ukraine was. No, the truth of the matter is Trump is one known for tough talk and weak actions. There's being much made about the fact that he's arguing he should have been there charging up to the Capitol. That's as if it's some kind of admission that he was involved in this abortive coup. But the fact of the matter is, I don't buy it. I think while this coup was going on, he was cowering under the desk in the Oval Office, hoping and praying that someone else would take the bullet for him so he could walk in and enjoy the glory, just like he always has throughout his life. This tough talk and little action, though, is pretty typical for Donald Trump and his ilk of mediocre white men. That's why they love Vladimir Putin so much. He's actually the real deal, a former intelligence officer who actually has a black belt in judo and is not a guy I would want to meet back alley, I gotta tell you. They love his willingness to simply ignore any kind of public institutions and beat down his enemies, because that speaks to strength, something that they really respect. But the fact of the matter is, they're weak. And so when they look at Donald Trump, they see somebody very much like them. Talk tough at the bar about how strong they are and what they would have done and how they would have fought and how the military would have benefited from them and they know better than the generals. Does all that sound familiar? When in reality, they were cowering from taking any kinds of tough positions and lead a life of mediocrity. They know that's true. That's why they're so resentful against those college kids who actually went and made something of themselves and are so in awe of soldiers and sailors and Marines who actually did volunteer to fight. And that's why they support people just like themselves. Mediocrity getting all kinds of privilege for no other fact other than the fact that they were born with white skin and with a penis. That's why they love Donald Trump so much and Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, we heard Lindsey Graham talking about how Brett Kavanaugh's life was ruined by the hearings leading up to his Supreme Court appointment. Well, I'll tell you something. If Brett Kavanaugh, with his lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court, had his life ruined, I wish somebody would ruin my life that way. No, it's just that this is what privilege has come down to. White male privilege has come down to being able to be mediocre and yet still be above reproach. God forbid you ever get questioned for your actions. Because the second you do, all of a sudden the house of cards comes falling down. No, this tough talk that you heard from Donald Trump and his ilk are not real toughness. Let me tell you about real toughness. I will make a shout out to those who serve in the military for sure, as well as many of the police officers and firefighters, many of whom do actually try to do a tough job in tough environments. But let's also give a shout out to those like Ketanji Brown Jackson, a black woman who overcame a middle-class African-American background to rise to Harvard and the highest court in the land. That's true toughness. To stand up under the tough kind of questioning that she got from those Republican senators trying to demean her in the hearings, with grace and with honor. No, real toughness are single mothers who raise their children, people like my mother and my daughter, who make good homes for their children despite the fact that they don't have the support from a partner. Real toughness are the political activists who are willing to stand up for gay rights or to end police violence against black people. As we saw in Portland, standing up for these causes can actually be dangerous even as you engage in peaceful protests. No, that's real toughness. This tough talk and, oh, I could have, oh, I should have. That's just more of the mediocre white male privilege trying to cover over its own inadequacies. If you want to see more about real toughness, why don't you check out this other video I made about Ketanji Brown Jackson and how impressive she was through her hearings. In my opinion, our newest Supreme Court justice is someone all Democrats can be proud of. I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.